Hey everyone, what's up? This is just a general boxing talk video. Some of you wanted to hear my thoughts on it, although I haven't really been covering boxing. I've been on some crazy stuff lately. But, Erickson Lubin, he was a top amateur, you know what I'm saying? But so were guys like Gervonta Tank Davis, so on and so forth, and Lomachenko kind of proved to you that great amateur background's not necessarily the tell-all for how great a fighter can be. You understand? Of course, you have people like Ali that won a gold medal, this and that, whatever, Oscar De La Hoya. Sometimes it does translate, but this is a different sport today. They did rush Lubin in. They had him fight when he was like 21, a 27, 28-year-old Jermell Charlo, and that was just such a bad move. They really took a gamble on that, and we've seen that Lubin over the years, fighting Fondor and fights like that. He's taken a pretty good beating, you know what I'm saying? And I always talk about the mental when we do cover these fights. Once it starts getting in your head, once you start taking that punishment, things like that, it fires certain synapses in the brain, whatever else. We speak about muscle memory, but there's also trauma memory as well, Lubin, he's a good guy. I've always liked him. You know what I'm saying? I think your smart money would be on Virgil Ortiz, but my thing is this, you know what I'm saying? I am getting a little bit of complacency feeling from Virgil Ortiz's side. I think that Lubin can shock him at times during this fight. It's going to be a good, entertaining fight. But again, if as far as money wise, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how my emotions feel, whatever else. I think Virgil Ortiz will be your smart money bet just for the win. High probability of knockout, stoppage, those type of things. But Lubin can surprise people, I'm getting a little weird feeling about this fight. I think Lubin is going to put a good effort in this fight. He's going to, once again, expose some kinks that Virgil Ortiz does have. If he is disciplined and if he lets Virgil slug, we've talked about Virgil Ortiz before on this channel. He's kind of moved away from his style where he established his jab first and then started working after he's established the jab. The new trainer move that he's done, I think, has kind of changed his style, and he's been more of a let me go out there and always try to hit a home run. If Lubin is smart, he can take advantage of this weakness of Virgil Ortiz, and he can maybe shock some people. You know what I'm saying? But, I only really come out with fights that I really feel confident have done work, researching, things like that. But I think Lubin is going to surprise a lot of people, and it's good to see that he is still fighting and he will secure a paycheck for this fight. I want to move forward to Terrence Bud Crawford versus Janibek, and I've already stated this in one of the couple of videos that I came out with a couple videos ago. This is definitely your Mean Machine Madrimov type matchup. This is not a silk sheet fighter. Guys like Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? We talked about this before. I always felt if Bud did get the Keith Thurmans, all those guys, that he would have decimated those dudes. During my predictions on these Terrence Crawford fights, I tell you that these dudes ain't even going to do what a Mean Machine did. And Janibek, this is a guy, again, he's hungry. He's a threat. He wants to make a name for himself, things like that. He's a competitor. It's not so much the technical boxing acumen part of it that's going to make him dangerous in this fight. Clearly, these are two fighters that believe in the hurt business still. It'll be a fun fight, I think, kind of similar to the Mean Machine fight. Madrimov, if he would have sold himself more, if he would have put himself more open, I think Bud did hurt him in the fight, I think, a couple times. I'd have to watch film, things like that, to get refreshed. But he you saw the feigning that he did. He wasn't really engaging much, things like that. I'm not one of those people that rewards effort, you understand, or discredits lack of effort. He's a very smart, talented fighter. But Janibek, again, this is a guy, he knows I have to go out there, I have to kill you for the most part. So he has kind of that old school type of mindset like a Terrence Bud Crawford. And I just see that being a very fun, entertaining fight, especially with Crawford being an older guy, still being stubborn, still being the psycho competitive type guy that he is. I think that'd be a very good fight for boxing. And all these people that are saying that Bud, is just like these other dudes that like to cherry pick and all this other nonsense. And these are Boots fans that will come out saying this crap. The nerve of some people and some fan bases, man. You got to keep it a buck, all around if you're going to cover this sport, man. It's pretty stupid that people play favoritism, even when it comes to race and things like that. It drives me crazy. But these are, Bud doing something like this. Canelo was one thing, moving up 2 weight classes, doing what he did versus Canelo. But, taking on a guy like this as well, there's no real reward. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're going to pay him a buttload. You know what I'm saying? And we still got it. I think it's December 6th. I'm definitely going to watch the Laura fight, see if he can expose some kinks of Janibek, probably expose some areas of him, that we haven't seen yet because he's been pretty dominant, whatever else. But, when you get this type of style clash mesh up and plus with the mental as well, I think it's going to be a really good fight if they are serious about making this. It's going to be crazy. Bud's probably going to get hate because he's going to take some shots. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hit. You know what I'm saying? He probably will get hurt too. No fighter is invulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just to see an old school dude kind of go out, give a young fella that type of shot, especially with this type of risk at this point of his career, especially when he's at pretty much the climax of it. You just beat the man that everybody tried to claim was the man, and you made it look easy. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of that, I think that's a very cool fight, and it's going to be a great action-packed fight as well. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Jake Paul, they did speak of perhaps replacing Crawford in there, but I doubt that fight gets made. I saw that Carl Froch was calling out Jake Paul. Carl Froch is my guy, man. I love that dude. It don't matter if he's not that good or not. He's just one of those dudes. Like let's get it on. And he did fight everybody that was around his weight class. He even tried to fight Calzaghe, things like that. He does what he does when he, when he wants to make a fight, man. And I don't understand why he gets so much hate. But I would like to see the Carl Froch versus Jake Paul. I mean, give the dude an opportunity. But Francis Ngannou is the opponent that they're talking about. If Jake Paul does take that fight, I think it's good. Francis has shown that, he can have some success even in losses in boxing versus Tyson Fury. He shocked a lot of people, but then later on, how it went. But he's an MMA fighter. I think that's a pretty good fight to make, especially as a replacement. They're probably also looking at him. I don't think he's busy or if he's really training right now, so I can see that from the Jake Paul side, him being the top pick. Ryan Garcia turned it down and he's wanting to fight Marios Barrios. Say what you want about what's his name, but Ryan Garcia, but he earned some brownie points, making that type of move, turning down the Jake Paul fight, although it does make a lot of money since today. But, it's cool that he wants to fight Mario Barrios, especially for a title shot. So that's very good for the sport, and it's healthy for the sport as well. As far as that fight, I don't know. Probably be another close fight. I don't know why Mario Barrios is such a player, but he has kind of overachieved. He's gotten a Manny Pacquiao fight, and he's beat guys like Ugas, surprisingly, whatever else. But I just don't know what the big deal is about Mario Barrios. I really don't. I know that Keith Thurman fought him as a tune-up opponent. He's kind of a big guy. He also got the Tank fight. So this guy's really being rewarded with some pretty nice fights in his career, But that's just boxing today, Ryan, I don't know. He's going to have to take the dude seriously, though. I know Mario Barrios will take this fight seriously. He'll work hard, and he will go in there to win. I just don't think he has the talent, and he's not. I would even go as far as saying he's kind of like Arturo Gatti. It's not necessarily the talent. He does have some heart and things like that, but that last showing with Manny Pacquiao, I'm not too really impressed with this dude, and I don't see why he's getting all these money opportunities more so than anybody else. It also goes to show he's got a legendary career, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, pretty good resume. Although I just don't think he's a top echelon fighter who deserved all these opportunities, you know what I'm saying? But Tank, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, and now you're going to fight Ryan Garcia. It's pretty crazy when you think of it today. But again, there's not really much more to talk about unless you want to talk about drama and things like that that's going in boxing. Brian Norman versus Devin Haney. Devin Haney is another fighter that I respect a lot. You know what I'm saying? I know people just hate this guy just to hate him. It's crazy. I've gotten in arguments, in my comment section with people. You know what I'm saying? And these are dudes that share skin color. I just don't understand the hate. I love the father-son relationship, the relationship that he does have with his father. Both of them work together. His father is not the type, that is trying to live through his son. He's really out here just hustling for his son and things like that, and Devin Haney, he does have a pretty good head on his shoulders. I mean, he did screw up with the Ryan Garcia fight. I had a feeling before that fight that, there was too much circus vibes I was getting off of it. And I don't think they took him too serious, and, that ended up costing him a lot. Now, we also know that Ryan Garcia took steroids and things like that as well. So technically, he is still undefeated, Boxing's a funny sport again, but it is what it is. People, they do get busted cheating, but it still doesn't really affect their career and things like that. But, we've talked about his power. Obviously, he does have a great jab. He does have one of the best jabs. Against Lomachenko, he was able to counter him with left hook counters when Lomachenko would close the distance and things like that. But you're dealing with another power puncher. What's his name's been building a lot of noise because of the whole boots Ennis thing that's going on, and it's further exposed Duran Ennis boots. And there was a dude in my comment section has a basketball channel, but very good dude, attention to detail oriented and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But he was the first one I saw that was calling out the fact that his brothers ain't got no chin. I know that. And they've been knocked out and whatever else. They don't have no defense. Bruce Vane came out with that video. Yes, people are finally starting to pay attention. They're starting to analytically break down the boots, whatever else, But this is kind of giving Norman a platform. And, but still got to give credit to a dude like Devin Haney. Devin Haney was not a ducker. Devin Haney always wanted to make the best fights. Devin Haney even wanted the Tank Davises, whatever else. He wanted the Lomachenkos. They called Devin Haney an email champion, but these same people, what do you call a Duran in his boots then? And this is just the inconsistent standards that people hold. But Devin Haney, if I got to go to Australia, I'll go to Australia, to go fight the guy. I'll even give the guy who ducked me a chance, Lomachenko, afterwards of the fact. He's been very business oriented, things like that. Even when it came, people there at first were hating on his resume, things like that. But, I mean, he really stepped up, and he's been doing what he needs to do, and I just don't know. He's a Muslim, too. I'm Christian, but he's a young man. Again, I have a lot of respect for young men, especially who are moving like Devin Haney. I don't see what there is to hate on. Is he the best fighter? No, he's not. But he's really been putting in that work. He's also been making boss moves, real boss moves, not this Errol Spence stuff talking about, I'm my own boss and all this other crap. Call Al. No, him and his dad, they put their career in their own hands and they're making moves. So I don't hate too much on a guy, again, who goes out there, even if you have weaknesses, things like that, you don't have a chin as well. I think I got into an argument recently with someone how Boots is better than and more comparable to Ali than Devin Haney. And I just don't understand the reason, the logic some of you people have when this fandom overtakes you by a country mile, and then some. And a hop, skip, and a jump has Devin Haney done more than Duran in his boots. And it's also, I have respect for guys like Teofimo Lopez as well. And if the Shakur fight does happen, I definitely want to see it. Is what's his name, Teofimo, hit and miss. But again, this is a guy who's accomplished more than guys like Keith Thurman, guys like Errol Spence Jr. Devin Haney, same deal, and they're young. You know what I'm saying? And these guys, again, they've hit some low points in their careers, but I mean, they've already accomplished more than a lot of these 10-year veteran types fighters that you guys used to hype up back in the day as well. And I give that type of stuff credit. Even with this Ryan Garcia turning down to Jake Paul or whatever else to try to earn a belt. But that's all I really got to say for now. I thought I'd make a quick video. You guys do have requests. I don't mind. If I do have time, I may address them. But one of you did request the Lubin Ortiz fight. Like I said, that complacency. I'm feeling just a little bit of complacency, disrespect to Lubin. And they should know that even right now, even in his former state and all the damage and stuff that he's taken, he's still a dangerous fight. You can't sleep on that dude. If he does fight behind the jab, he can make this night an easy night for himself. But if he's in here doing that, let me be a slugger, let me go for the home run every shot. That Lubin can shock and kind of surprise people, land some stuff that they probably weren't expecting. And we've been seeing Virgil getting hit with a lot of big shots, even being sent to the canvas. Although majority of them, although I felt they were knockdowns, are not being counted as knockdowns. But that's just reckless fighting and having no patience, also not really maturing yet mentally as a fighter. Again, he was more mature when he was with the other trainer before he moved to Diaz or whoever he's with now. And again, his style is best when he can establish that jab and then he can start looking off it and then he can start mixing it up. Well, now I'm gonna throw the right hook to the body when you think I'm coming with the jab, or the straight right up top. He can really mask his shots and do a lot of crazy things. That's what I admired when I first saw him coming up. Now he doesn't do that anymore. He kind of loses patience and whatever else, and then he feels like he has to go gung-ho and try to knock these dudes out. You know what I'm saying? It leaves him highly open, things like that, and he is getting caught with some big shots. And again, smart money again, just in this video. It should be on Ortiz, but I would not be shocked if Lubin can kind of upset the apple cart by landing something sneaky, especially when Virgil's making mistakes. But I will talk to you guys later, and that's all I really got for now. Bye.